Hello, this is Toby the Galactic Intuitive, and welcome to your spring equinox reading. Before us, we have the sigil that was channeled to encompass the frequencies and the activations to assist us in experiencing this equinox. I'm hearing with its fullest potential, which is interesting. And as I was preparing to begin the reading here, I began to pull a few cards, but it felt like something was missing. It felt like there was something still beneath the surface. And so I went ahead and started recording because there is a sense that, and I spoke about this in the Explorers membership earlier today with some journal prompts, but there is a sense of, as we are coming towards the equinox, of having an awareness of what we can feel that is pre-emergent in our lives. Maybe it's within us, maybe it's within a project or some sort of creation that we are bringing forth. There is a lot of energy, and this goes along with springtime as well, of course, but there is a lot of energy that I'm sensing of gestation, and as well as a pre-creation energy. There's a energy that speaks to or is related to ideas of creation as well as conception, physical conception, as well as again, those ideas, these concepts that we are bringing into form. And so this equinox is bringing through energies that will help us in bringing these concepts or conceptions into physical form, as well as providing light codes that will help to assist our physical bodies in being in a state that can hold the energy necessary to bring these concepts or conceptions into physical form. And I'm getting, of course, because I keep speaking of a conception, I am getting a lot of imagery of a pregnant woman, and how one's body goes through so many changes when you're pregnant, and there are things that need to be done in order to provide extra support for the physical body of the mother as she is providing safety and nourishment and nurturing and warmth and all the things necessary for this new life to take shape. And there's a very similar energy encompassing this equinox, and that is available to all of us. And of course, not all of us will be bringing a new life into this world, but there is this applies to all types of concepts and ideas and creative forces, I'm hearing. So let's go ahead and start pulling some cards. We're going to begin with, well, first of all, let's do this. I'll hold up the sigil so you guys can see it a little bit more closely. If you want to take a screenshot of it so that you can come back to it at any time, feel free to do that. It might be an image that you want to sit with in meditation. These sigils do hold, as I mentioned, the codes and activations that are supportive of us as we go through this particular, I'm hearing window, which is interesting. I was started to say season or segment, but then was the word window came through. And now I'm seeing someone opening a window and allowing in the fresh air of spring. Yeah, there's a sense of breathing in, again, new life. That theme is very strong around us at this time. Okay, so we will begin. What will we begin with? Let's begin with the Elemental Oracle. I'm also, as I was, over the last few days, as I was reflecting and opening up to preparing for this reading and bringing the sigil through, I don't know if you guys remember, about a month, was it a month ago? I don't even know. You know how time is these days. But not too long ago, there was a message about Mother Earth and her feeling a bit separate from us, and her going into a bit of a hermiting stage. And the other morning, I felt her heartbeat, I want to say come online again, which is, oh, there goes the nose, which is rather, it's not the truth of it. It's not that it came back online. She didn't go offline. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, now my nose is really itching. Okay, hang on a second. Let me do one thing at a time. It wasn't that Mother Earth went offline by any means. It's that she was in that... Oh, goodness. Here we go. She was in that... I'm sneezing, so if there are edits, it's because I'm editing out the sneeze for you guys. She went into that hermiting, a bit of a hermiting stage, and I felt her heartbeat very strongly recently. There was a very strong message of, I just keep hearing her coming back online. It's not that, again, it's not that she was absent. It's not that she wasn't alive. It's that she is now moving back into a state of being very active. And that Mother Gaia, Mother Earth is interesting. I usually refer to them as separate, but there is a sense of them merging and acting in coordination, in protection of the earth, and in assisting humanity through the chaos that is currently afoot upon the planet. And just look at how the colors match up with these cards too. I just noticed that. The colors in the sigils and the backgrounds of the sigils do have significance. And we have card number 28, Joy and Music. Okay. We're going to do, how many cards are we going to do, please? This one. Okay. We'll do at least 3. Card number 7, Darkness and Moon. I believe we have a new moon coming up on the equinox or the day before. And we have volcanoes and power. And this is what I was talking about. This is just what I was talking about Mother Earth and Gaia working in coordination and becoming active. I did see a notification about a potential for some rather large earthquakes around the... I'm trying to remember what... like the Ring of Fire around the Pacific. And that was just yesterday. So I'm recording this on the, I don't know what the date is, 16th? What is today? Today's the 16th. Okay, so let me show these to you. We have Joy with music. I keep saying joy, but it is in reference to joy. But the card's name is music. Ooh, Mother Gaia singing her song. We have card number 7, the moon. And notice in this music card, the moon is very prominent. Let's see, is it gonna... There we go. And then we have volcanoes. Card number 9. trying to see. I'm hoping that the camera's not jumping around for you guys. Okay, guess it's not. That's good. With this reawakening of Mother Earth and Gaia, we have, it's interesting that we have the moon here in the middle, because we have this singing of a song, and see how the cello is emerging from the earth and from the sand, from the desert, with all the greenery and the plant life around it. There is an emerging of joy that's coming through. This is part of the creation energy I was feeling. The joy, it does almost always accompany creation. We often feel joy when we're in the creative process, and whichever form that is. And there is a balancing here of the joy coming forth and being birthed and coming up through what has felt maybe rather dry and solemn and plain. I'm getting the word plain. They're serious. There's a rebirth of joy coming forth. And Mother Earth and Gaia are supporting us in this as well. And this is part of what is being birthed at this time of the equinox. And there's a balancing here that happens in the darkness of the moon. And that balancing is that it's interesting. Now I'm getting a sense of humanity being in this state of joy. And yes, I'm aware that not every person in the collective is going to be experiencing that simultaneously, but there is this wave of joy that is rising up when we are connecting in with this creation energy that's available to us through the equinox. And on the corresponding side, we have Mother Earth and Gaia coming through with her power, their power, showing through the volcanoes. And it's also this uprising, right? It's the lava rises up through and breaks through the surface of the earth. And just as the music is rising up out of the desert. And so there is the volcanic activity is not only a releasing of the energies that Mother Earth is transmuting and assisting in transmuting with for humanity, but it is also an expression of her joy as well. And we almost see similarly these sparks here in the darkness card and the moon card behind the figure's head. Well, and creation happens in darkness, doesn't it? Creation is what comes out of the void. And so it is I'm hearing perfectly aligned that we place this card in the center, because it is out of the darkness that the creation is born. And just as we move from winter into spring, and I do understand that I'm focusing heavily on spring, and all of you may not be in the northern hemisphere, but there will be corresponding, like a counterbalancing type energy that will also make sense to you in relation to the autumn equinox as well. And if you're coming from the southern hemisphere or currently in the southern hemisphere. So we have this expansion of Mother Earth, that birthing, I was going to say bursting, but also birthing joy, bursting forth this expression of simultaneously the joy and the transmutation of these darker energies. And darker, not in the darkness necessarily of creation, but darker as in associated with the shadow. But that's interesting. It brings about a very important point that although I make that distinction, in many ways they are one and the same. There is great beauty that can be birthed from the shadow as well. And it is through that balancing of the light and the shadow that we come into alignment with our highest form and our highest self. And the same is true for Mother Earth and humanity as a collective. And all three of these figures represent the divine feminine, and I find it really interesting that the divine feminine is rising up out of this volcano. There is, in addition, an important note that this equinox is bringing forth a lot of power through divine feminine energies. Now, however, those are represented within individuals. We all carry aspects, or we all carry the divine feminine and divine masculine within us. It's a matter of how we express it. And there is this beautiful reminder from Mother Earth that she is supporting this rising up of the divine feminine within her aligned power and empowerment and sovereignty. That it is the divine power or divine feminine that is associated with creation. It is from the womb of the divine feminine that all is born. Okay. Well, I feel like we're switching. This was our opening. All right, so we're going to put these, where are we going to put these? We'll put these over here. Oh, okay. Well, we're switching to divine masculine now. I didn't realize we were going to break this down this way, but that's what they're saying. So now we will go to the divine masculine. They're also switching up card decks, so give me just a second. This was the elemental oracle. We're going to do sacred geometry. I did have this deck out here already. Oh, look at this. And when I split it on divine feminine and third eye chakra. Okay, but this is the deck we're going to use for the divine masculine. And again, we have both energies with both essences, I'm hearing, within us, both archetypes within us. And we may be more comfortable with one than the other. We may embody more of one than the other. However, as we move through our evolution and ascension, it is to move towards a place of balance within each, or with each. Interesting. They want me to take 3 and then we'll turn them over. Okay. Heart chakra, card number 4. Discernment, card 20, and dynamic, card 23. I'm really drawn to card 23. 23 has been coming up a lot for me over the last year or so. And it says the frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements. both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. Great joy. This feels like it speaks to the opening of the divine masculine to being more fluid and more flexible. I'm actually getting the phrase to not be quite so stoic, to, as it says, to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements with ease, grace, and great joy. So allowing this equinox is bringing forth energies that are going to be supportive of the divine masculine in opening to this flow, to the flow with ease and joy and grace. And I know I'm doing these backwards, but that's the way they're leading me. So we have card 20, discernment. And this is the frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. Interesting. I'm getting kind of a Syrian nod here too, because I know it probably doesn't look like it necessarily. It might not look like it to you guys on the camera, but I'm seeing like a blue lion face in the background. So there is, the Syrians are coming through to offer their support, in particular to divine masculine energies and the archetypes within you, to soften, to allow the divine masculine to be embodied in its fullest form and beyond what has been traditionally conditioned into humanity to be let me rephrase that. What was traditionally conditioned into humanity as a definition of what the divine masculine is. And I should also rephrase that as to what masculine is. And that is very different than what the divine masculine embodies. Certainly there's overlap and there are some similarities, but divine masculine moves with compassion, and I'm hearing loyalty, and is grounded and is steady and is sure. I'm hearing sure-footed. Interesting. It's that inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. And then we have heart chakra, card number 4. Let me go a little bit closer. There we go. The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Well, and we just talked about how it was time for that heart, mind, body coherence work. And this is what we're speaking of here as well. And I did mention that a meditation and light language activation for support of that, to assist us in that coherent state, will be forthcoming. So, yes, probably before the equinox. I will do my best to get that to you before the equinox. But that's what this speaks of. And this is in alignment with the divine masculine as well. That to move outside of all of the, or to not move outside of, but to expand beyond just the mental state and just the physical state, to recognize and to honor and to move in expression of the embodiment of that state of coherence between the mind and the body, and as they connect, with the central point being the heart chakra. And that's the state that allows for support of this creation and of this joy as well. And not only support of it, but experience of it as well. This is not an asking of the divine masculine to create a structure or a space so that the divine feminine may express her joy and may feel the joy. This is an opportunity for the divine masculine to recognize our place in the experience of that joy. Creation doesn't happen solely from the womb. It requires the two to come together. And that's what we're speaking of here. And it's this coming together, and this may be in reference to your connection with another individual. And that might be the case. However, generally speaking, they're actually kind of correcting me. So I was going to say, generally speaking, these readings are, well, let me see if I can get this right. The readings that I offer here, the majority of them are about your personal work, the work that you and your personal experience, the inner journey as well as your journey as an individual in this physical reality. In this particular reading, they are talking in equal measure about the inner balancing of the divine feminine and divine masculine, as well as the balancing with another individual. And so there is a big emphasis being placed on, it reminds me of it's a similar energy to what I spoke about in announcement number 3, when I was talking about being open enough to allowing other people to behave differently and to release our expectations of other people. Whether that car is really loud. whether we have expectations of them doing something we consider positive, or whether it's something we consider negative. When we release those expectations fully, then we create space for them to show up as who they are, which is what we hope to receive ourselves. And so I bring this up because there is a big note here, nudge, maybe push, to be aware of our own thoughts about when we're speaking about these energies in relation to other people. Our own thoughts about, if we're the divine feminine, our thoughts and our beliefs about what the divine masculine is capable of. And the reverse is true. If we find ourselves more in the divine masculine energy, what are our beliefs or our expectations of what the divine feminine is capable of? And then how can we release those and just be open and just allow the other to show up as they are? We have discernment here. You are fully capable of recognizing what is in alignment with you and what is not. And it is purely that simple. If another person shows up in your world and they are not in alignment with you, you can sense it through your intuition and through the somatic experience of the energy of another being in their presence, having communication with them. If they are not in alignment with you, okay. Now maybe you don't know that immediately, but at some point you will. So trusting your discernment to guide you in that way and make those decisions, honoring your boundaries, honoring your sovereignty, and also not bringing to the table your past experiences. And we can use this in regards to other people. We can use this in regards to ourselves. When we show up at the table, whether we're sitting down with another individual or whether we're sitting down with ourselves, if we sit down there with an expectation or preconceived idea of the conversation that will unfold, then we're basing it in our past experiences. And if you're basing a new experience in your past experiences, then you're continuing to live in the past and you're going to recreate that past. I know that sounded kind of harsh, but that is the reality of how that sort of energetic interaction occurs. And they're saying energetic consequence. If we are anticipating a similar experience to what we had previously, then that is what we will experience. What is being offered to us at this time, whether it's in regards to someone outside of ourselves or whether it's in regards to how we interact with ourselves and how we bring together the divine feminine and divine masculine within us, the opportunity is to allow for this integration to happen in a new way. You have changed, which means that your divine feminine has changed and your divine masculine has changed. Now again, whether I'm speaking in regards to those aspects within you or whether I'm speaking in regards to you and another person, the same is true. You have changed. If we're talking about another person, then there is certainly potential that the other has changed too. Now it's up to you to discern if that has happened or in what way they may have changed. That's not the point. The point is to not sit at the table, to reuse this analogy, to not sit at the table with a decision already made as to what you are expecting to experience in that communication. And so when you sit down with your divine masculine and your divine feminine, how are they interacting within you? Are they both feeling safe to be seen by the other, to be held by the other, to be taken care of by the other, by you? Are they both open to experiencing and expressing joy in equal measure? Are they moving, as it says in dynamic, with grace and ease? And are they moving in a coherent state between heart, mind, and body? Okay. So let's go a little bit deeper. I was planning on this being a little bit longer reading because it felt like there were things that we needed to know ahead of time. So we're talking about divine feminine and divine masculine. So I am going to move these up here just to create a little bit more room. All right, we're going to go this way since I'm not exactly lined up, but that's okay. The Virgo in me is just going to have to deal with it not being lined up straight. Okay. So let's bring this down. We were looking at that very high level and from a very energetic standpoint. Let's bring this down a little bit and look with the tarot at more specifics in relation to each of these. What would be worthwhile for us to know, beneficial for us to know as we approach the equinox? What will be most supportive of us in coming to this place of integration of the divine feminine and divine masculine, and opening to that integration, as well as this connection with Mother Earth and her expansion, and this but this emergence of creation. So let's see, what are we going to do here? Okay, hang on. Let me start over, because I have some specific questions. This is the Spirit Song Tarot. I have not used this in quite a while, but it really called to me for this reading. It has lots of animal symbolism, animal medicine within this deck. Okay. So let's look at this more specifically. We're going to do this for both the divine feminine and divine masculine. We're going to start with, generally speaking, the overall theme for what will be most beneficial for us to be aware of going into the equinox. That'll be our first card. Reflection. Patience, perspective, the Hanged Man. And then the next card will be the area of life it pertains to. There you go. 9 of Acorns. That would be its power and perseverance. So that is the 9 of Wands. Looks like, I don't know what kind of cat that is. Oh wait, hang on. Let me do this again, because that might have been the card. Let's put it in the middle just in case so it can come out. It looks like a jaguar, like a black jaguar. So the next card is it presents as, or how it presents to us. After I get the cards out, I'll show you these up close, since it's kind of harder to see on the camera. Presents as, please. Knight of Crystals. That would be the Knight of Pentacles. Endurance and determination. Well, we've got a lot of patience, determination, perseverance on the divine feminine side. And then we have the next card will be the gift in this experience. The 4 of Crystals, and that would be the 4 of Pentacles, control and security. Aha. We have an otter. So right away, it seems very obvious. Patience as we're moving through this process and allowing things to come in. Again, this is that patience as we're in the process of gestation, as we're in the process of growing something. We have the concept, the conception has already been initiated. And just as a child must be carried for, or generally is carried for 9 months in the womb, there is a period of time where it looks as though we don't have anything necessarily tangible in our hands to show, to represent, to touch, to feel, that shows us the growth that's going on. We can use the symbolism of the seed germinating, and how When the seed first breaks open underneath the soil, we can't see it. And even as it germinates, and even as the tiny shoot begins to appear and break through the soil, it's still so small. And that is not an the size of that tiny little sprout is not an indication of the mighty oak it's going to become. It needs some time. It needs perseverance of care and determination and endurance and willingness to continue to invest in that creation. And what comes through that is security. The Four of Pentacles is often depicted by someone holding a bag, holding their wealth. And sometimes it can be obsessive in a way. It can come from an energy of scarcity, but that's not the way I'm reading this, and that's not the way it feels here at all. It feels like what happens through this process is that in the unfoldment of this concept, and as it begins to emerge and take physical form, that's when you can actually touch and feel and even reap the rewards, the tangible rewards of this concept. And it brings through a level of security and foundation that with that I get a sense of freedom. Let's do one more. But this is something that you've been working towards a long time. This is not a new concept. This is not something that you... Now, if you have a new concept, it may be that you're looking towards this playing out with the equinox, with this coming into tangible form with the vernal equinox in 2027 or even 2028, I'm hearing. But for many of you, this is something that you have been working on for some time. And this may speak to the integration of the divine feminine, divine masculine within you. It may speak to a relationship that you have been working towards in the physical, a relationship with another person. Maybe it's a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a relationship with a close friend or a colleague, someone you're going to be collaborating with, that you're creating a project with together. But recognizing the importance of your perspective as you move through this process. And as we're speaking about moving towards the equinox and all of these things coming together, remember we said to begin with that the energies and the activations and the codes within this sigil would support us in these energies unfolding. And so there is a sense of culmination coming here. Your perspective even now has incredible impact on how this unfolds and the rate at which it unfolds as well. Because and this speaks back to the expectations, when we are in a place of allowing things to move naturally, fluidly, and at the pace of divine timing and not human timing, then we release the blockages and the restrictions that are actually causing things, or maybe causing things, to slow down. And so that's where, because especially as sensitive beings and those of us who are aware of energy and feel energy and maybe psychic, we have awareness that these things are forthcoming. So to be able to maintain patience can be exceptionally challenging because we can feel it. And many of us have spoken about feeling the change underneath the surface. We know something very enormous is coming. There's huge change coming. And we're seeing it coming in pieces and parts, and things beginning to move together and align, and larger parts of the picture becoming clear, we still have a sense that there is something bigger coming, or even there's on a collective scale as well as an individual scale. So being mindful of your perspective is incredibly important. To not allow that inner knowing of something unfolding, and even if you know what it is that's unfolding for you, especially if you know what it is, to allow yourself to be in flow with the process. And so this card represents the underlying energies. See, there we have it. The Magician, willpower and creation, because your energy, your perspective, how you view this process is creating the outcome. It is creating the outcome. This is all about creation. And we are very much on the verge of what is pre-emergent becoming emergent. It's like that. I don't really want to say that last 100 meters, but that is the way it feels. All right, so let me show you these cards up close, and then we'll look at the divine masculine and the same type spread, same questions. So there's the Hangman and your perspective and patience. And then we have the Nine of Acorns, which is again which would be similar to the Nine of Wands in traditional tarot. Oh gosh, there goes the nose again. And then we have the Knight of Crystals, which would be the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to start sneezing, so if there's a pause, that's why. And we have the Four of Crystals, which would be the Four of Pentacles. And then we have the Magician, card number 1. Oops, with the Raven. I can't seem to get that straight. There we go. Willpower and creation. Okay, I'm going to use a different deck for the Divine Masculine in case we have the same cards coming out. I want to make sure that we have the opportunity for the same energies to present themselves. So we will do, what are we going to do for Divine Masculine? Okay, we're going to use the Rumi Tarot. So again, we'll do the same spread for the Divine Masculine. And just as a reminder, this can be in relation to another person that you're in contact with or will be in contact with, or someone in your energetic field, or it can be in relation to these archetypal energies within you. And honestly, even if it is in relation to an individual in your energetic field, it is also in relation to the archetypal energies within you. It feels like there could be a sense of mirroring between how the divine masculine and divine feminine energies are expressed within you and a person that you come in contact with. Okay, so, and that often happens, right? The people that around us reflect back to us in some shape or another what is going on within us. Okay, so we have the theme. That's the Shaw of Staffs. That's the King of Wands. Okay, it's the overall theme for Divine Masculine energy for the equinox. And then we have the area of life. Ace of Coins, that would be Ace of Pentacles. There's this birthing of a new creation. Next card will be how it presents. Dervish, that's the Hermit. Card number 9. That is the Hermit. Whoa, and that card just flew out of there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is card number 4, which is the Gift. Oh, look at that. The Two of Cups. Okay. That's beautiful. So that's the balancing of the divine feminine, divine masculine energies. Coming together within oneself or potentially with another. Gosh, this feels very straightforward too, doesn't it? It's interesting. It feels very straightforward, and yet my words don't want to come out. So the Shah, okay, wait a minute. They're telling me to go ahead and look at the underlying. Oh no, they're just saying go ahead and pull the card, but don't flip it over. Okay. All right, so let me do that. I'm really taken by this King of Wands. He's the Shah of Staffs. He's feels like a very imposing figure. And yet at the same time, someone who is, he feels very serious. This is indicative of your divine masculine energy. Again, whether it's internal or another person, knowing exactly what it wants, what he wants. Notice how he is gazing straight forward. He is, isn't he? I can't. It looks like it to me, but that's what I'm getting. He's gazing straight forward and holding the gaze, not turning away. He's directly facing what it is that he wants to create, wants to experience, and is inspired by. The King of Wands is highly motivated, and oops, I kicked the camera stand. Sorry about that. He's highly motivated. He knows what it is that he wants and will use all of his fiery energy, all of his motivation and determination in order to move in that direction. And he also knows when to be still. He knows when to moderate his pace so that he is moving in alignment with that which he seeks to create, and moving in alignment with his own fire energy, so that he doesn't burn out. It feels very balanced, measured in a way, but not in a place of trying to create a sense of control, but balanced in that it has that balance of divine feminine, divine masculine energy. And it's through this balance that he is able to present then this Ace of Coins, this new idea, this new concept, a new beginning in a way. There's a lot of yellow gold in these cards here. A lot of solar plexus energy engaged here. And again, that speaks to that inner knowing, the confidence and the willpower to move forward and to move towards what the divine masculine wants to experience. And if we're speaking about this in terms of your own inner divine masculine, it's allowing yourself to be guided, and your actions and your steps to be guided by this this fire, but in a balanced way. Because notice we don't have an Ace of Wands here, we have an Ace of Coins. The Pentacles are very grounded. They are the earth energy. And so, and it is that which comes from being germinated. And what we have, the Knight of Pentacles is the one that plants the seed. Interesting. We have the Knight of Pentacles being over here on the feminine side as the one who does tends the field, tends the seed, offers the nurturing and the nourishment through the process of it opening up to sprout the plant. And now we have on the divine masculine side as the divine masculine being the one who then holds in his hands what the reward from that, what is birthed from that, what is the fruit that comes from that particular plant. And again, then being balanced here with the Hermit, knowing when to rest and knowing when to be in a place of reflection and knowing when to cool that fire. The Hermit is also, it's associated with the sign of Virgo. It is a very grounded energy. It is an earth sign. Going into that place of inner reflection. And it also super interesting. We have this beautiful balance of energies. We have the Hangman here on the divine feminine side. That's associated with the sign of Pisces, which is the polar opposite of Virgo. So how beautiful that we have, and it is also represented by the two fish, which sometimes is shown in very similar to the yin and yang. So again, the balancing of the divine feminine and divine masculine energies. Really beautiful. And then here we have the coming together, the divine masculine holding this space. It's interesting that on this card, I'm not showing you these cards, am I? Okay, here's the Ace of Coins. A really beautiful representation of this. And then we have Dervish, which is the Hermit, card number 9. And then we have the Two of Cups. What's really interesting as I'm looking at this Hermit card is if we're talking about, or when, in the instance that we're talking about an individual, it may be someone who has, remember how we talked about not having expectations based on past interactions or experience with a particular person. Again, use your discernment. Your discernment is strongly present here. However, there is an indication with the Hermit card that the divine masculine in this dynamic has spent a great deal of time in self-reflection and in doing the inner work to come out of the Hermit's cave as this balanced King of Wands, able to be grounded, to present an opportunity or a new beginning in the form of the Ace of Coins. And what I was going to say about the Two of Cups was that there's this structure that surrounds these two energies. And it feels like the structure is indicative of what has been created or what is being offered in this Ace of Coins. It doesn't have to be a physical structure, but there is an idea behind the presentation of the coins. There again, the theme of the concept. There is there is a concept of what wants to be offered. It's not someone coming forward asking, they're not coming forward empty-handed. They're coming forward with being able to express what it is that they want, because they are this King of Wands. They're able to plainly speak and hold your gaze when they do so, and telling you what it is that they desire, and the vision that they have of connection with you moving forward. And if this is your inner divine masculine, this is that clarity that you've been in the shadow with your divine masculine. You've seen the shadow of the divine masculine energy. Now to understand where maybe the masculine energy was coming from, a lower vibrational motivation. Maybe it was based in past conditioning. Maybe it was based in judgment or expectation coming from the external world. But there's been this light that's been shed upon the inner aspects of the divine masculine, so that now your divine masculine can express clearly and act and take steps from a place of balance, and a place that is supportive of the divine feminine. Okay, so the underlying energy is the Shah of Coins, the King of Pentacles. Well, that's beautiful. Very grounded, right? The King of Pentacles, he's very, very grounded. He is, he's also very compassionate, very loyal. If you put it here, you can kind of see it. This is the Divine Father. And again, this is the one that has the perseverance to, and the knowledge and the patience to work through the problems and the challenges and stay level, stay grounded, stay steady, to create that vision of what it is that he wishes to experience. And it's equal whether we're talking about, again, a person outside of you, or whether we're talking about your inner divine masculine. It's a beautiful combination here between, and it's gotten dark, so I'm sorry that it's, let me see if I can turn up the light a little bit. Where did let me see if I can make this a little bit brighter. It got dark outside, so it's a little bit, here we go. There we go. It's a little bit better. It's a beautiful balance between the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles. That's inspired and passionate and motivated and strategic, as well as being compassionate and grounded and centered and steady, and able to, and I get a sense of being measured, not in a sense of coming from trying to control, but, or to hold back expression, but measured in understanding energetic investment, and not burning out, not overdoing, not being easily pushed into overwhelm. Again, this is so important for your own divine masculine, especially as we are bringing this concept into place. And now the rain starts again. as this concept is emerging into tangible form. It is taking physical form. And it is these energies that support this process. It's these energies that the equinox are bringing together so that this concept, this seed, emerges out of the soil. And it feels like there is rapid growth on the other side of its emergence. Okay, you guys, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness, this was a long one. I appreciate you staying with me if you made it to the end. Thank you so much. I'm sending you all lots and lots of love. If you are in the Explorers membership, check out the latest posts. We do have a live gathering happening on the last Sunday of the month at 10 a.m. Topic to be revealed by the 9 at some point prior to that. But we do have the time slot scheduled, so you guys can hopefully plan for that and put it on the books so that you can join. If you are in the Travelers membership, look for our next meeting to be in. We do those in the Travelers membership once a quarter, and we just had our last one February 8th. So look for that in May. And I think that's it. If you guys are interested in a similar reading for yourself, I offer the light language sigil readings. We have the Year of the Fire Horse sigil reading, which is a similar format, except it looks at each astrological season through, or each zodiac as a season through the Year of the Fire Horse. I also do general light language sigil readings, which can be around a specific theme or topic or question or an area of your life, or if you'd like to look at a specific time period, we can do that as well. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is in the description box below, and I thank you all so much for your time, your energy, your attention here, and as always, your support. Sending you guys lots and lots of love, and I will be back very soon. Thank you.